3 minutes ago, something happened in the House Judiciary Committee chamber that nobody saw coming. Jim Jordan, the Ohio Republican who has spent years as this administration's most reliable defender, looked directly at FBI Director Kash Patel and asked the question that would shatter 8 months of carefully constructed lies. "Where are the Epstein files, Director Patel?" The question landed like a mortar shell in that packed hearing room. Every camera operator in the press gallery immediately zoomed in on Patel's face because they all knew what was about to happen. They had seen this before, that micro-expression of panic that flashes across someone's features when they realize the trap has just sprung shut around them. Patel's reaction was immediate and visceral. The color drained from his face in approximately 3 seconds, a transformation so dramatic that reporters in the front row would later describe it as watching someone receive devastating news in real time. His right hand, the one resting casually on the witness table just moments before, moved instinctively to the table edge and gripped it. The knuckles went white. That single gesture told everyone in that room everything they needed to know. Kash Patel, the man who had built his entire reputation on projecting unshakable confidence, was completely rattled. But here's what makes this moment absolutely explosive. What transforms it from just another contentious congressional hearing into a career-destroying public execution. Jim Jordan wasn't supposed to ask that question. He was supposed to protect Patel. This was friendly territory, Republican chairman questioning a Republican FBI director. The script called for softball questions and sympathetic sound bites. Instead, Jordan brought receipts, and those receipts were about to burn Patel's entire facade to the ground. The hearing had started like every other oversight session. House Judiciary Committee, April 18, 2025. Officially scheduled for routine FBI budget discussions and operational updates. Republican members arrived expecting to praise Patel's leadership, to cite arrest statistics and counterterrorism successes. Democratic members prepared their usual criticisms about civil liberties and controversial firings. The standard Washington theater where everyone plays their assigned role, reads from prepared scripts, and nothing consequential ever happens. But Jim Jordan walked into that chamber carrying something different in his hands. His folder, normally thin and barely referenced during these friendly sessions, was thick with documents. Multiple colored tabs protruded from the edges, different categories of evidence meticulously organized for maximum impact. Veteran congressional reporters noticed immediately, exchanged knowing glances. Jordan only brings organized, tabbed files when he intends to systematically destroy someone on live television. What nobody expected was that Jordan's target wasn't a hostile Democrat. His target was sitting at the witness table expecting protection from the Republican chairman who had defended him through every scandal. The first 90 minutes proceeded as expected. Republican members lobbed softball questions about border security successes, gang arrests, counterterrorism. Patel delivered smooth, practiced responses calibrated for Fox News. He smiled at the right moments, made eye contact with friendly members, projected confidence. Democratic members tried to land punches on FBI firings, suppressed investigations, controversial decisions. But Patel deflected everything with bureaucratic precision. Ongoing investigations that prevented detailed disclosure, personnel privacy, classified information, the standard defensive playbook. He appeared totally in control, occasionally checking his watch. The performance was textbook and about to be demolished. Jordan sat quietly through most of this, barely participating, just watching. He checked his folder twice, made small marks with a pen, organizing his attack. Then at 2:47 p.m., everything changed. The room's energy shifted immediately. Reporters who had been checking their phones looked up sharply. Democrats leaned forward, sensing blood in the water. Republicans exchanged confused, worried glances. This wasn't following the script. Jordan was supposed to help Patel navigate rough waters, not steer him into the rocks. Jordan opened his folder with deliberate slowness. He pulled out a single sheet of paper, held it toward the cameras positioned throughout the chamber. Then he did something veteran observers recognized as a signal. He put on his reading glasses. Jim Jordan almost never wears his reading glasses during hearings. He prefers direct eye contact. When Jordan puts on glasses, it means he's about to nail someone to the wall using their exact words. Jordan read directly from the transcript, his voice clear and measured, making sure every word landed. The FBI is committed to full transparency regarding the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. We will release all documents that are not subject to ongoing investigative restrictions within 90 days. The American people deserve to know the truth, and under my leadership, this FBI will deliver it. Jordan looked up over his glasses, letting those words hang in the air for several seconds. That was 8 months ago, Director Patel. 8 months. You said 90 days. You made that promise under oath. The silence was absolute. Jim Jordan had just publicly accused the FBI director of lying under oath using Patel's own testimony, his own words as irrefutable evidence. The cameras captured everything. Patel's face transforming from confident to concerned in a single breath, his jaw tightening visibly, his shoulders drawing inward defensively. Jordan continued without giving Patel time to respond. So, I'm going to ask you a very simple question, and I want a simple answer. Where are the Epstein files? The question was surgical, impossible to deflect, and Patel had nothing. The FBI director shifted in his seat. His confident lean-back posture disappeared instantly. He sat up straighter, shoulders hunched forward. His mouth opened, closed, opened again, searching desperately for the right words. Chairman Jordan, Patel began, his voice less steady. As I have explained in previous testimony, the document release process involves multiple agencies, complex reviews, and legal considerations requiring coordination across departments who must evaluate impacts on ongoing investigations before materials can be disclosed in accordance with federal law. The response was pure evasion designed to run out the clock, fill the air with official language, cite vague procedures. But Jordan cut Patel off. I didn't ask about the process. I asked where the files are. You said 90 days. It has been 240 days. That's not a process question. That's math. The interruption was devastating because Jim Jordan never interrupts friendly witnesses. His entire approach to oversight hearings involves giving allies room to talk, protecting them from hostile questioning. It's his signature move. But he had just shut down the FBI director mid-answer, in public, on camera, with undisguised contempt. Patel blinked rapidly. His carefully prepared defensive strategies assumed Jordan would be an ally. That assumption had just been destroyed, and Patel was visibly struggling to recalibrate. Jordan pulled a second document from his folder. Director, I have here a letter from the National Archives dated October 15, 2024, 6 months ago. He held up the letter so cameras could capture the official seal. All documents responsive to the House Judiciary Committee's request regarding the Jeffrey Epstein investigation have been reviewed, declassified where appropriate, and cleared for public release. We await FBI authorization to proceed with document production. The impact was immediate. Reporters began typing furiously. Democrats whispered urgently to staffers. Republicans exchanged alarmed glances. Patel looked like a man shown video evidence of a crime he thought he committed in private. Jordan's voice rose. 6 months ago, Director, the National Archives said they were ready. They were waiting for you. So what happened? Why haven't you released the files? This was the critical moment. The point where 8 months of carefully maintained deception either held together or collapsed completely. Patel opened his mouth to respond, but no coherent words emerged initially. His left hand moved to his water glass, lifted it to his lips, and the trembling was so pronounced that water sloshed over the rim and spilled onto the witness table. The cameras captured every detail: the shake in his hand, the water droplets on the polished wood, the visible perspiration beginning to form on his forehead under the bright committee room lights. Chairman, Patel finally managed, his voice barely recognizable. That letter doesn't reflect the full picture of the interagency coordination required for document releases of this sensitivity, and there may have been some miscommunication about timelines and processes for ensuring appropriate reviews are completed before materials are made available in accordance with established protocols. The response was weak, transparently evasive. Jordan leaned forward and delivered the line that would be replayed on every news network. Miscommunication, Director Patel? I defended you. I went on television and told the American people you were different, that you were going to bring transparency to the FBI, that you were finally going to release the Epstein files and give victims' families the truth they deserve. He paused. I put my credibility on the line for you. I told people to trust you. And right now you're talking about miscommunication when you made a direct promise to this committee and to the American people. The betrayal in Jordan's voice was genuine. This was a man who had defended Patel publicly and now felt personally betrayed. Jordan pulled out another document. This is an internal FBI memorandum dated March 3, 2025, 1 month ago. Subject line, Epstein document release, indefinite hold, he read slowly. Per Director Patel's verbal instruction, all document production related to the Epstein investigation is to be placed on indefinite hold pending further review. No timeline for release should be provided to congressional oversight. Classification concerns are to be cited as justification for continued withholding. The explosion was instantaneous. Democrats began shouting. Reporters jumped to their feet. The chairman banged his gavel repeatedly. Through all of it, Kash Patel sat frozen, his face drained of color, his hands trembling, his breathing rapid. Jordan's voice cut through the chaos. This is your own internal memo, Director. Your own FBI's documentation of your order to bury these files indefinitely while publicly claiming you were working on releasing them. So I'll ask you one more time. Where are the Epstein files and why have you been lying about releasing them? 47 seconds. From Jordan's first question to this moment of complete exposure, exactly 47 seconds. 8 months of deception had collapsed entirely. Patel tried to stand, his chair scraping loudly. Chairman, this is outrageous. You're taking internal communications out of context and weaponizing routine procedures to create a false narrative. Jordan cut him off with a single word. Sit. Patel sat immediately. The hearing continued for another 90 minutes, but nothing else mattered. The moment had been captured on 17 cameras. Within minutes, clips spread across social media. Jim Jordan turns on Kash Patel trended worldwide before the hearing concluded. Conservative media went into chaos. Liberal outlets called for resignation. Jordan announced his intention to issue subpoenas for every document related to the Epstein investigation. And if I find out that you have been deliberately withholding these documents for political reasons, if I find out that you've been protecting powerful people who should be investigated, if I find out that you lied to this committee, Jordan paused, I will personally call for your resignation. I don't care who appointed you. I don't care whose side you're on. I care about the truth. 3 minutes. That's all it took. 3 minutes for Jim Jordan to ask the question Kash Patel couldn't answer. 3 minutes for 8 months of lies to collapse. 3 minutes for one of the most powerful alliances in Washington to explode on live television. And 47 seconds for Patel's face to transform from confident to pale, from composed to cornered, from FBI director to a man whose career had just ended in front of 17 cameras and millions of witnesses.